I really like the idea that since the dissolution of Umbrella, Chris basically just has to do cleanup for the rest of his life. Oh, there's bioweapons in Africa? Just send Chris. He can deal with it. I've made it very clear that I love Resident Evil 4, but it did kind of taint a lot of the Resident Evil games afterwards by making them think, wow, I need to be Resident Evil 4. And the only way they can do that is by emulating moments from Resident Evil 4 but poorly. And here we get the opening village scene, but instead of Dr. Salvador with a chainsaw, it's this big chunky dude with an axe. One positive that I will give Resident Evil 5 is that there's a lot more variety to the melee options. You got hooks, straights, uppercuts, neck breakers, stomps. If your partner's nearby, you can do follow-up combos. That's why I'm playing with infinite ammo and an unupgraded pistol. I call that the punch shit build. I know that some people don't like Sheva as an AI partner, but I'll take her over Ashley any day, because Ashley can't do sick follow-up roundhouse kicks.
Somebody help me!
Oh no, I have to save that white lady from being corrupted by the African disease. I was too late. Now, you may be watching this and thinking, wow, a white soldier going into Africa, trying to save a white woman and mowing down hordes of black civilians sounds really bad. How did Capcom think this was okay? And what I would say to anyone thinking that is, you sweet summer child, you innocent babe swaddled in cloth, ignorant to the horrors of the world and the treachery and depravity of mankind. Devalue your innocence, because you haven't seen shit yet. It will get way worse before it gets better. A monster that you fight in a locked, enclosed space that you have to defeat using the temperature? Where have I seen that before? A crazy guy with a chainsaw and a bag on his head? Where have I seen that before? Alright, get up there, Sheva. Does somebody nearby have dynamite? Yep, they did have dynamite. Also, not invincible during cutscenes. Remember that terrible fight with the big bat from Resident Evil 0? Yeah, they did it again. Stop with the big bats. This one does have a much better design because it doesn't just look like a bat, but stop with the bats. I totally forgot that there was a turret sequence. Not surprising though. Every shooter from 2007 to like 2012 had a turret sequence. An El Gigante. Where have I seen that before? So, this is Lost in Nightmares. It's a DLC mission that was clearly story content that was cut out. So I'm going to play it right now, rather than later. Since we are looking for Spencer, we have to go searching through another Spencer mansion. So this entire mission is basically just decently done nostalgia bait. Wait, I recognize this note. Is this for Itchy Tasty? It is. Well, why is it here? It's so funny to write a note about how between Ashford, Marcus, and Spencer, only Spencer is still alive. I wonder what the connection could be. I wonder why he survived and those other two didn't. Wonder who started the fire. Well, it was always burning since the world's been turning, I can tell you that. I wonder if Jill's gonna play Moonlight Sonata.
Jill.
Okay.
Weird. Wonder how I knew that. The reason I say that this was clearly cut story content is A, because this is shown as a flashback in the main game, and B, because of this fight. This fight, early on, would have been a really good gameplay setup to fighting Wesker, because you're not supposed to win this fight. You have limited ammo, and the window to hit him is super slim. You can beat him, but it's really hard to do. Narratively, it makes sense to show Chris and his partner getting his ass kicked here, because then it's more satisfying when you beat the shit out of him later with your new partner. But they cut it out of the main game, so now it's just some kind of weird prequel mission that you have to pay extra for. Oh, here's my chance. Don't mess up the button prompts. Holy shit! I actually got him. I beat Wesker. I honestly thought I was just gonna have to wait the clock out on that one. Remember when I said that the game was going to get worse? This was what I meant. Tribal masks and straw huts. Literal spear throwing. I don't understand how anyone at Capcom looked at this and thought, this is fine. We can ship this. Like, I can kind of understand how Capcom came to these decisions. What if we did RE4, but instead of rural Spaniards turning crazy from a virus, it was the same concept in another country? And it just doesn't work here. It also doesn't work in 6, but we'll get to 6. Oops. I thought she was all the way across. That's my bad. Wouldn't be a Resident Evil game if we didn't have to run away from a building that's going to explode. I thought that I remembered this game decently well, but I have no memory of this segment. Another thing that Resident Evil 5 does understand is that just railing into a boss with a minigun is almost always fun. Uncharted came out a few years prior to Resident Evil 5, and it was a big hit. So here's the section where we stop playing a Resident Evil game and temporarily play an Uncharted fan game. Doesn't seeing all this just make you think Resident Evil? Not Uncharted or Tomb Raider or Lego Indiana Jones. No, this is Resident Evil right here. Now it's time for everyone's favorite part of a Resident Evil game, laser beam refraction puzzles. Alright, just gotta turn this one. No, not that way. That's gonna... Okay. That was on me. So, after reading that note that said that all these flowers are being used by Umbrella to work on the progenitor virus, you'd think Chris would just burn all these. Just burn the entire field. Every problem in every Resident Evil game exists because of that flower bed. For as much shit as I give Resident Evil 5, I actually really like this fight. Monster design's cool, the way of damaging it is fun, and I really like the lighting. I've always considered it a highlight of the game. You know what else was popular in 2009? Cover shooters. So this is the section where it stops being a Resident Evil game and momentarily becomes a Gears of War fan game. Playing this right after playing Resident Evil 4 does make the point of this area pretty transparent. Like, Resident Evil 4 ended with you going through a more gritty, mechanical area where you deal with armed militia. So what if we just did it again in 5? You fool. Don't you know that I'm immune to grenades in cutscenes? Except for earlier when I wasn't immune to grenades in cutscenes. On one hand, I think that this boss fight is really lazy, since it's just the same as the first one. However, I also think that the decision to give you a flamethrower to fight it with rocks. So I'd say the pros and the cons even out. Nice RPG. I don't think you want to use that in close quarters. Lord knows that I don't want you to. Oh. I didn't know that Chris had the world. Tokiga Mokudes. You're allowed to unfreeze now. I probably botched that pronunciation, but whatever, I'm working off of what I remember from Heritage for the Future Supers. Leave me alone. Now, this Wesker fight is why you buy the rocket launcher. Because you knock Jill out, and then you hide from Wesker. And when he's not looking, you peek out and pop him. He'll catch it, but if you shoot the rocket while he's holding it, you win the fight. Automatically. Here he comes. Let's see if I can still do it. Hell yeah. That's right. I still got it. I really like Jill's design in this game. It reminds me a lot of the main girl from John Carpenter's Ghosts of Mars, which isn't a good movie, but I really like the art and costume design. And I really like this fight, because you get to do sick throw combos on her. You want to help me out, Sheva? Or are you just going to watch? So, this is Desperate Escape. This isn't cut story content, it's DLC. This is where it goes in the story, so I'm playing it here. Alright, where's that other chainsaw guy? I can hear him. Oh, there he is. There you are. Having trouble getting down, buddy? Well, it's okay. A lot of us are afraid of heights. So, you just stay up there. You know what? I don't even know your name, but I'm tired of you. There. That's taken care of. Alright. Just have to survive for 5 minutes and the mission's done. Are you kidding me? This part is, worse than I remember. Come on. Come on. Come on. Christ. I don't remember that mission being so annoyingly difficult at the end. In a sense, it does create some real tension, especially when that timer extends, but wow, was that annoying. Here's a pretty solid rule about Resident Evil. If the level takes place on a ship, it's not going to be good. Dead aim, this level, the worst part of RE7 is on a boat.
This ship is huge.
The only exception is Revelations, which gets worse every time that you're not on the boat. It's the inverse of the rule. These dogs are cool enemies. You just have to ignore that they're ripping off the dog from the thing. So, the big twist to all of this is that Albert Wesker was a eugenics test tube baby created by Spencer. And there are other Weskers out there in the world. But Wesker apparently didn't know this until he went to go kill Spencer. The story of 5 is, it's dumb. It gets really dumb. I remember this fight now. This is what I like to call a Yorm the Giant fight, which is just a gimmick fight where they give you a really powerful weapon that you spend most of the fight waiting for it to charge. No shade to Yorm the Giant, of course, because I think I'm in the minority who absolutely love that fight. You fight Wesker a lot of times in this game, and I think that this is probably the worst. Because all you need to do is restrain him once and the fight's over.
Do it now! Give him the shot!
Look at that. That's it. Got him.
Your feeble attempts only delay the inevitable.
I think I brought it up during Code Veronica. But Wesker can't teleport. He's just moving so fast that it looks like he's teleporting. Except for other characters can move faster than him for story purposes. It's dumb and inconsistent, whatever. It looks cool, that's all it needs to be. Another reason why I think Lost in Nightmares was originally a story mission is that this scene represents the closure of Chris's story arc for the game. He couldn't save Jill when she sacrificed herself to take down Wesker, but he can save Sheva when she sacrifices herself to take down Wesker. It's like a little redemption arc. Except, the redemption doesn't mean as much because Jill didn't die, and you learn that really early on in the game. Now, I'm not saying that whoever wrote this game stole the ending from Battle Tendency, but that also ended with a plane crash into a volcano with a villain who considered themselves the ultimate life form. Here it is, the moment you've all been waiting for. Multiple games in the making. You gotta loosen up a little first. Yeah, now beat the shit out of that boulder. Now that I think about it, it would have been better if Jill and Chris were the ones shooting Wesker. I mean, Jill has more of a history with Wesker, and even in this game I'd say that Wesker's been worse to her than he was to Sheva. And then, Sheva was never seen again. Please, for the price of a cup of coffee a month, you can help clothe and house these Resident Evil characters that Capcom forgot about.